This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
Hey, LowcoSports fans, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr, along with Marcus Walsh from WHHI TV, sitting in for Max tonight and getting back together after a couple nights off for the holiday. Hope you guys had a restful time and got to spend some time with family and, be grateful for all that is good in the world and in your life. But how you boys doing? It's about high time we got back together.
Yeah,
Rocking and
I'm
rolling,
feeling
for sure.
refreshed. Yeah, feeling refreshed after a few days off, and had a great time with family. Tremendous Thanksgiving. Just great to have sisters and other family members home for a couple of days, and it's been nice just kick back and be with family. And now getting ready to jump back into what should be a great basketball season, really starting up next week with a lot going on, but. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's been a relaxing couple of days for me.
Well,
Had some
for
great
me,
food
I
as
still.
well.
Oh yeah, no doubt. For me, I still have a few days to go yet before I get to the real relaxing part. That'll be actually when I head up to Ohio later on in the middle of the week upcoming.
All right.
But yeah, it's one thing after another as it continues, whether it's getting some personal stuff taken care of or getting ready to head to these gyms. I've got a couple of concerts that I'm going to be singing in the next couple of weeks. But next weekend at this time, I'll be up in Ohio with Sam visiting my family. So looking forward to that. But taking a little time, here and there amidst all the chaos and hustle and bustle for sure. I was in Savannah last night, had Thanksgiving dinner with Sam's family, and so that was great to be with her family and with her, and we had a great time at her sister's place as always, and just checking into some of the games going on today and catching up on Loco stuff. And there's always ideas going around in my head about what I'm looking forward to for the basketball season. Again, for us, it'll start in January, but I'm planning on hitting the gym Wednesday night before I leave for Ohio to catch a game.
Yeah, there's a couple of good ones on tap for next week, but I wish I was at under a Friday Night Lights somewhere in the Loco covering a playoff run, but not to be this year, as all our teams got knocked out last Friday. A couple of tough ones, including Hampton County's defeat in overtime at the hands of Manning last week. I really thought the Hurricanes had the best chance out of anyone, but unfortunately they fell short, and Hilton Head got taken down by a South Florence team that is on a roll again. So you look at that for the Seahawks, certainly a tough loss, but they ran into an absolute buzzsaw because South Florence is rolling over Hartsville, and they are looking like a state title contender once again. They're up 49-21 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter over the Hartsville Red Foxes, and it's looking
like Hartsville's not a bad team either.
On to the
No,
they're
number
not.
one.
That's a really quality win.
The number one team in the state.
With Bruins, number one seed, so they would play either Gilbert or North Augusta. So I think it's going to be them and West Side at this point.
Yeah,
this
looks like it.
Title game.
Also of note, you mentioned that Hampton County lost to Manning. Manning is up 13 on Philip Simmons in the fourth quarter right now. So, Manning's a quality team, and Hampton had them. They had them mostly without Jalen Singletary. He only ran the ball a handful of times. They were trying to see what he could do. He was injured the week prior, and he wasn't really himself. So Risher carried it like 30 sometimes in that game, which is not the game plan. They're supposed to split the carries. So you would have loved to see Hampton get them at full strength and see what they'd be doing this week, but it is what it is. Manning looking good though. That team showed some fight in the fourth quarter last week and rolled it into this week. Looking around at some other scores that may be somewhat of note tonight. You mentioned South Florence up 49-21 on Hartsville. Let's see. Dutch Forks killing River Bluff. No surprise. Somerville up big on Ridgeview 42-20. Let's see. Bamberg and Donnybrook down 35-32 at Lakewood in the fourth quarter. Oceanside and Dillon are in a good one that's on YouTube. 28-21 Oceanside in the fourth quarter. James Island's up 27-17 at Sumter in the fourth quarter. South Point and Daniel are having a good one. 28-21 South Point third quarter.
How about that West Florence Irmo game?
Going up 21-13. Irmo is up
North
big,
Augusta
42-7
over Gilbert.
Oh yeah, they just scored again, huh?
And then I jotted down the Keenan Loris game as well that I saw.
Loris 17-8 Loris in the third quarter last I saw, or last report. These are all coming from Max Preps. That's the up to the.
And I'll tell you, they've been reliable. I like how the South Carolina School League is, put the interactive bracket up on Max Preps so you can see all the scores, the real-time scores coming in, which is really helpful because normally you have to track it down. Either
of course, it's only as useful as the users who are inputting the information.
Yeah,
so
the reporters sometimes it depends
gotten
on who's out there
showing
the scores.
Yeah, but shout out to all those people who are putting in valid information on the spot.
Big
that
time.
Is huge. That's supposed to work. So that's very cool. This show is presented by Mickelson Law Firm, our presenting sponsor, our all-star sponsor. They've been with us since the beginning, since 2017. When we got this thing going, Mickelson Law Firm jumped on board as our first sponsor, and they're still with us. They are our all-stars. They are a presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage and the official what am I looking for? Real estate closing attorney of LowcoSports, but they can help you with all legal needs. They're right in downtown Bluffton, and Mickelson Law Firm, great people doing great things in our community. We'll shout out some more sponsors as we go along, but you boys alerted me to it. But Georgia Tech up 17-0 on Georgia right now. Crazy times up in Athens, and that could make things interesting in the playoff scenario. What do you do with a 3-loss Georgia? That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, well, obviously Georgia, even if they lose, they'll still be in the SC championship next week.
Right.
Or next week they'll still so they would play either Texas or Texas A&M. What happens. So it's
they'd probably win tomorrow
right now.
Still get in, right?
Election committee is going to have one heck of a challenge determining the at-large teams that will get in this thing for the first ever 12-team playoff, because the chaos is going to rule over the next week or 2 weeks from. But yeah, it'll be next week when everything is the dust will settle, because we'll have the conference championship games, and next Sunday will be the selection show. But a lot to be decided before then. But yeah, there's a bunch of. It'll be interesting to see how they view a 3-loss team. Although, like I said, if Georgia loses, obviously if they lose their fourth game, they'll be out. But if they win, even if as long as they win next week, even if they lose this week, they'll make it as the automatic qualifier from the SEC. So a lot of different scenarios at play. It's a lot different this year, especially with the 12-team format and the ability to win your conference and automatically get in, which could make things very interesting in a couple of different spots. But of course, you have Boise State that won again, I believe today, and they're ranked 11th as a Mountain West team. That's a pretty impressive year they've had. Obviously, if they, I don't think if they lose their conference, I doubt they'll put them in with a 2-loss team in a non-Power 4 conference. But if they do win the conference championship, they will probably be that extra team, that extra auto bid that gets in from a non-top 4. Will be the fifth conference champion. That will most likely, although even there's a chance they could get that top 4 seed if they beat out one of the Power 4 teams. So it's very, very interesting to see how everything unfolds. And obviously tomorrow's going to be a big day, and of course a game with humongous implications right here in the Palmetto State.
Oh yeah, Carolina,
No question.
Clemson. Clemson's got to win it, right? I mean, even though it's not an ACC game, you feel like they need to get out of that 12 spot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if they're in that
Yeah.
12 spot, they can get bumped for the
Well,
Big 12
yeah. I
champ.
mean, it's a must-win game. It's a must-win game. Well, I mean, it may not be a must-win game if they get help from Syracuse and they beat
Right.
Miami. But
Right, because then they could get
you
into
don't
the
expect that to happen if it comes to AC
if you
championship game. So it's
if you're not if you
they
don't win
could
the
survive.
ACC championship, I think the loser of the ACC championship game is going to be out. But I think that third team that doesn't get in has a shot to sneak into the top 11
We've had we have
as
had
people back out.
We've had Alabama do just that in previous years, not win the SEC championship, but still get in the top four. Maybe even Ohio State did that one year where they weren't in the Big Ten championship and they happened to get in.
Yeah, I think you may be right.
There's
Yeah.
always
I mean,
something that's
keep an
going to
eye on
go
South
on like
Carolina.
that.
Keep an eye on South Carolina. If South Carolina gets it done, keep an eye on the Gamecocks. I totally agree. If they can get a road win at Clemson to boost their resume,
Yeah.
and they're still
Yeah,
they're 15, so they're right there.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
not
I think
it's not crazy. I
inspiration.
mean, they're definitely one of the hottest teams in the country. And if the committee gets caught up in that, like, well, then they may get that little bump. But I think they'd have to get to 11 most likely because the Big 12 champion is probably bumping
Because
the
the auto
12.
right,
Yeah,
right.
unless
Because
the 12 happens
you
to
have
be a conference champ who can't be bumped. But I don't see how that would play out at this stage.
Here's what I'll say about this whole thing. I mean, with the fact that we're getting more and more teams that, as fans, we have to evaluate. And the committee's getting more and more involved in figuring out things other than just wins and losses, but by the metrics. It's somebody's always going to be complaining. In this case, it's going to be the
Yeah,
13th and 14th team.
sure.
And
yeah.
you always
Okay.
wonder as well about what the committee's going to evaluate on. We say the same thing about March Madness, but here's the bottom line, guys. It's difficult if our teams don't get in as fans, of course, but
Sure.
you just said it, JJ.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you get these teams that come in and they play this huge tournament, and it's great no matter how it shakes out at the end of the day. Obviously, we've got our own teams that we want to root for and whatnot, but I was definitely okay with them moving from a 4-team playoff all the way up to 12. It's going to be interesting this
I
year to
love it.
see what kind of kinks might need to be evaluated after this season, if any. I'm guessing there will be
Right.
something that they have to evaluate,
Right.
but I don't know if you would have to do any more than 12. Obviously, I'm saying that as the fact they haven't even played a game
I mean,
yet.
it's possible they will. I
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised.
Maybe
I
if
think
in
they
due
will.
time.
higher than 12.
I think it'll go to 16 in due time,
16
just to
or
get
even
them 4 more
24.
games.
Maybe not higher than 16, but yeah, because you'll still have 4. But I like 12. I like the 12-team format as
I
it
like
is.
12.
We'll
It's a
see
good
if
number.
down the road
I
if
do
they
too.
extend it, but
I
you get
do
like the
think
4
one
buys, which is
thing
important. Yeah.
one thing I've already foreseen that I feel like they're going to change for next year is I think they're going to give that committee leeway to move somebody one line to avoid conference intra-conference intra-conference matchups. Because as of right now,
Right,
the
in the first
projected
round.
bracket has Georgia versus Tennessee and Penn
Right.
State versus Indiana, and
R-
We've
they need
seen
to have
those.
some freedom to swap those. And honestly, you could very easily, before what's happening tonight, you could very easily say that Georgia needed to swap with Penn State anyway. So that'd
Sure.
it'd be an easy enough move to go Georgia, Indiana, and Penn State, Tennessee, and those are way
Or
more
vice
attractive
versa.
matchups. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
that's a far more attractive matchup. So that's one thing I think they'll change. But I think the 12 team overall is really strong. It
Yeah, I
allows
like it too.
for those kind of wild card conferences to get a team in, but without totally diluting the field to the point where we have ridiculous first round matchups that are going to be just totally lopsided. Hopefully, I mean you can still get one, but I think
Sure.
they'll be competitive matchups.
Yeah.
Another thing that I'll say real quick is that everybody's now saying, you know, it's SEC and Big Ten and then everybody else. And with more teams getting in, people are going to make the comparisons to talking about the college basketball seasons in years
Right.
past, where there's been one conference that has dominated. A lot of the time it's been the SEC, but we've had occasions where it's been the Big 12, like with Kansas and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And we've had times where it's been the Big 10 with Michigan State and Indiana. And again, I'm talking strictly about basketball right now. But you know, again, somebody's going to be complaining no matter what happens. So let's just enjoy it. That's my take, of course.
Enjoy the chaos.
Well,
That's
Yeah.
when
that's it. Go ahead, Wes.
Yeah, that's what we love to see. I mean, that's why everyone loves March Madness. You get the unpredictable results, but there's a fine line between those teams who get in and those teams who are on the bubble or get left out. And
Right.
it's very similar here with this 12-team format where you can make a case for a number of different teams. There's always going to be someone that is going to be on the outside looking in. At the end of the day, it's all up to a committee, and it could go one way or the other. But I like the way they expanded to 12. I enjoyed the 14 playoff. I thought it was a fair way to select the best or determine the best team at the end of the year. But there have been some instances where you have that 5 or 6 that should have gotten in and was a competent team that could have challenged for a championship. And I agree that 12 is a good number at this point. I don't see the need why you have to go any deeper. I'm sure they will always make a case that we're going to expand in the future. I'm just pumped to see the campus sites games the week before Christmas. That's going to be a ton of fun.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
To have that excitement over there, and for those fans to be a part of that and to see those games right in front of them on campus. So that's going to be a treat. And then you're going to get an extra week of football, I guess, at the college level, and you'll get the playoff, the quarterfinals, close to New Year's, around New Year's, and the semifinals a week later. So, just a lot of great college football to watch, and it ups the stakes. And the other point I was going to say is that, like, a lot of people were saying, oh, well, the 12-team playoff it's going to make games less important because the 14 playoff, every team meant so much, and there's one loss could absolutely take an entire season. And but I think on the flip side is you're just so much more interesting games with big time implications when you've had the 12, because it seems like the SEC, especially, there have been some games where it's swung one way or another in terms of the teams getting a chance of making the playoffs in so many different instances. And the SEC is it's crazy to see the parity, which isn't always had, but like with the additions of some new teams, I think it's even more so has increased in terms of the competitiveness of all these squads. It's really hard to determine that these two, whichever. Obviously Kevin Libby, the money always is the big factor in these decisions. So I'm going
to bring up a quick point about that too. Sorry, Wes. Going to bring up one quick point about that as well, is that where the true money lies, in my opinion, of course, is with these big games. And the one thing that I will say, if we go to a 16-team playoff, that is, I guess 4 less, let's say, Waffle House bowls or...
No, I don't think so.
Whichever else. You don't think that would reduce?
No, I just think it's just 4 more first round games.
I mean, obviously, right. They'll still find teams.
Backfill the Waffle House Bowl.
They'll have like eventually teams that win 5 games will be bowl eligible or something.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
But 5 teams with 5 wins will be in those bowls. They ain't reducing those.
might see matchups like we did today between Colorado and Oklahoma State. And although Colorado is very good this year, I was watching some of the Minnesota-Wisconsin game earlier too.
Yeah, the Paul
Not talk
Bunyan's
about cold
trophy.
weather. Nothing like Big Ten football
Oh,
around this time of the year too. Of course, we got a huge Big Ten
Yeah.
game tomorrow.
I mean, it should be
Couple
cold
of
when you're
matches up
playing
there.
for Paul Bunyan's Zax.
Oh,
Like that.
absolutely, no doubt.
That's a cold weather game. Speaking of cold weather games, we got some going on around the state. We got some finals now coming in. West Side 49-7 over Camden in 4A. South Florence 49-21 over Hartsville. Somerville 49-20 over Ridgeview in 5A. Lakeview knocks out Bamberg 42-32. Clinton 31-14 over Batesburg Leesville. Oceanside holds off Dillon 28-21. Louisville blows out HKT 31-6. Gaffney 21-7 over TL Hanna, and Cross in a defensive struggle beats Hanna Pamplico 12-7. So
Watch
those
out
are
for
all
those
final.
Trojans. Their defense
bunch in the
has been
fourth quarter.
just incredible. That
good.
cross defensive group. I mean, they've allowed like 7 points the last 5 weeks combined or something like that. It's insane the way that defense is playing. So
Yeah, they've been crazy
definitely
good.
look out for them over in 1A. Yeah,
Well, that is an odd
no
final
doubt,
score
no
there
doubt.
that shows 12-7. If that's accurate, I mean, we're relying on the kindness of strangers posting these scores. I had earlier seen a score that said 12-0 Hanna Pamplico, so that would not square with 12-7 final in favor of Cross. But this one says final on the Max Preps. So hopefully we're not spreading misinformation. But
17-6 Georgia Tech over Georgia, by the way.
Yeah, Georgia
Georgia just scored, and they are going to be going for 2. They're going for
they went
2
for 2
right now, so they
went
just
for 2
scored.
all right. So we got a Donnybrook.
I believe they did not get the 2 points.
Malfunctioned.
Yeah,
And you're right, Wes. Actually, it's Georgia Tech ball. I was incorrect there.
They failed.
So regardless, 17-6.
All right. Very good. Go Georgia Tech. I'm all for the upsets. Bring on the chaos.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, for sure. Bring on the chaos, maximum chaos at this point. Although, it's I will say that I grew up a Clemson fan and am still a Clemson fan, but I will say that South Carolina has every opportunity with Norris Sellers at the helm, who I remember covering as a South Florence Bruin, and look at him now on the national stage, getting ready to lead the South Carolina Gamecocks into Tiger Town. It should be a great atmosphere. Noon kickoff, of course. I do feel like they could have played this one tonight, although they had some conflicts with some other games. But hey, it's all like you said, all at the mercy of the television networks, and when they decide you will play those games, and you better show up at that time.
Right.
And we'll see which team shows up at high noon over at Death Valley.
High noon
on ESPN. Kind of surprised that is not the ABC high noon game, and that's on ESPN. They've got Tennessee and Vanderbilt at high noon on ABC. I'm kind of scratching my head on that one.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, that's a little weird.
Very weird.
But hey, we got MVP sponsors. We've got our apparel sponsor, Base Hit Life. They've got cool baseball and softball themed apparel, t-shirts, hats, hoodies, and more. Go check out all their styles at basehitlife.com and live your best base hit life. So check them out in your free time, basehitlife.com. Homegrown home inspections, best home inspectors in the Lowco. If you're buying a new home, have them check it out first, make sure it's a good purchase. And if you're building a new home, have them check on it every step of the way with a phased inspection and make sure it's built right with homegrown home inspections. Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, great at the end of life. They've got palliative care, hospice care, free grief counseling, and much more through their not-for-profit hospice service, Hospice Care for the Lowcountry, where it's not about dying, it's about living. And our friends over at the USCB Center for Low Country Hospitality Education have been the Low Country Hospitality Education. They teach you all about the Loco. But Kevin Libby's having funny
Kevin.
thoughts, and he got me sidetracked. But if you want to learn more about Bluffton
Kev.
or Hilton Head, become an ambassador through the USCB Center for Low Country Hospitality Education. Kevin Libby commenting on our growing number of viewers tonight. We're up to 47 tonight, live viewers right now.
Nice.
And he's commenting that somebody must have posted that this edition would feature nudity. So maybe we're on the hook for the full Monty tonight.
Not this guy.
No, I'm out on that as well. I'll not be partaking in the nudity portion of the show.
No.
But let's talk a little bit of hoops, because we've had a little basketball since we last convened. We didn't get together. What was it? What night did they play basketball in Savannah? Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Is that it? Tuesday night. So we took Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off. Tuesday night was a little disappointing at end market, in the sense that the mixer malfunctioned and we were not able to actually comment on the game, so that was unfortunate. We were looking forward to that, but we did get to experience a great environment at end market. I hope that they're successful in moving it a week later next year, so the students will be in town, because that would definitely increase the atmosphere.
Yeah,
having
that
sections.
was something I was going to talk about. Yeah, the fact that you have it during Thanksgiving break, because when we had our big rivalry game at Davidson, which of course playing tonight, unfortunately behind by about 15 last time I checked to the number 3 team in the country, the Gonzaga Bulldogs. But I will say that Davidson had their rivalry game with Charlotte, and they still do, but they always had the Tuesday after Thanksgiving break, so the students were able to be part of it. So that's I feel like that's something that would be nice to see for USCB, is have that rivalry game, but also have it while the week after Thanksgiving. Obviously, schedules are very volatile. It's hard to fit all these games into the best spots for everyone, but I think it would be more entertaining for it to have it in that kind of way. But it's still a great atmosphere, and tough, especially for the women, because they had a lead into the fourth quarter and could not hold on.
They had them, man. They had them. Had them where they wanted them, and then they lost again today down in Florida. They lost to Barry, 71-56, and Barry's a good team, 5-1. USCB was up 1 at the half, down 2 going to the fourth, and then Barry pulled away, outscored them 27-14 in the fourth. So they're still figuring out how to close. Lack of depth is a factor there. Late in the game, if they get into foul trouble, they get deeper into the bench than they really care to. So they're having a little bit of a hard time closing out games, but the progress is real. The way they came out in the first half against Savannah State was phenomenal. I mean, they put it on them early, and Savannah State was scrambling and really had to adjust and did make some good adjustments in the second half to get back in it. But it was the best I'd seen them, the best half I'd seen from them. And then the guys' game, was disappointing because they just couldn't hit a shot. They couldn't get an outside shot to fall. Every time it seemed like they were getting back in it, Savannah State just had an answer at the other end. And if you can hold USCB to 69 points, you've done something. So credit to Savannah State, but it was a tough shooting night for USCB. That was the gist of it from my perspective. Incredible environment and really good basketball. It's going to become a cool thing. I really think. Patio furniture. He got a few minutes. He's still kind of working his way back into it. I did do a little Ronnie Cam on the story. I have some more Ronnie Cam clips. There were a few times where I just kept my camera on Ron, and got some footage so we can meme him. We can meme him later. So USCB women are 0-5 after the loss today. Why are we showing this one again? accidentally hit that. And the men are what, 5-1? 5-1 now. Won't get to see them again for a while at home. So we've seen that. Some other hoops going on. Earlier this morning, Cross Schools beat Marlboro County, a good sized public, 49-29 up in Charleston. So Cross is 3-0. Beaufort girls got their first win, 51 over Stall. And Colleton County boys lost today to Pinewood 75-42 after they beat St. John's 95-38 last night. Amari Saunders had 32 in that one for Colleton. Tuesday we had a few games. May River girls knocked off Battery Creek 55-39 to win the Earl Campbell preseason tournament. Jordan Green was the MVP for May River. JP2 blew out Coastal Homeschool on the girls' side 65-20. Lily Termini, a nice game, 13-7 steals. Bluffton beat Bridges Prep for their first win after dropping their first couple in that tournament. And then on the boys' side, Bridges Prep beat Whale Branch for the tournament title and Earl Campbell 62-56. A good game. We'll see that at least twice more in region play, home and home, and those should be good. JP2 boys beat Coastal Homeschool 60-45, 21 from Daniel Godson, 17 from Nico Atkinson, 14 from Sean Phelan. They're 3-0 and have the win over Hilton Head Prep in hand. And Patrick Henry beat Royal Live Oaks 57-40. So that's about what I know about basketball and the Lowco. What you think?
We certainly hope to have our schedule finalized soon, but of course we're planning on seeing a bunch of 6-4A of what is presented. I am really, and you just mentioned it, JJ, that we'll see Whale Branch and Bridges Prep region wise twice. We are planning on, as long as this sticks with that schedule, we are planning on heading to Bridges Prep in January 7th, to be the first game. I'll just go over all the games. I'm tired of kind of just saying, we've got a schedule kind of in
Tell us what you got
in the
buddy.
works. As long as this works out, I'm hoping that I can have this finalized before I go to Ohio, because I plan on seeing a game Wednesday in one of the gyms. We plan on seeing Whale Branch at Bridges Prep on the 7th of January, and then Bluffton at Hilton Head on the 10th. The 21st, JP2 at HHCA. I plan on going to the JP2 Hilton Head Prep game on Wednesday, that doubleheader. That's what I plan on seeing. And then the 24th, Bluffton at May River and May River at Beaufort on February the 7th. So that is what we've got. Just need to get it confirmed with the bosses. But I really think that a lot of these teams look pretty strong to me, but I can't wait for that first matchup that we'll have with Whale Branch and Bridges Prep. That'll be the third time, I believe, that we've seen it. We saw it the last 2 years, and it's been some fun basketball. Yeah, that's right, because we went to Bridges, we went to Whale Branch last year, going back to Bridges. I think both JP2 teams have some players that are looking to impress. And I've said it before, like I was very high on May River during football season. Ever since I met those two head coaches that are taking over at May River, and got to see what they were doing in practices even before football season officially started, I'm really high on May River again in basketball. I think that both those teams have a chance to be pretty dang good. I actually think the Bluffton guys have a chance to be pretty dang good as well. Bluffton girls down a little bit for sure, in my opinion.
They're rebuilding.
The Bluffton guys,
Harry Skinner.
Look out! I saw Harry that Skinner. Too. I was like, "Whoa,
he's a bobcat."
How about it?
They're going to be fun. They got a lot of pieces.
Hilton Head's going to be interesting, certainly without Linda Young on the girls' side. But I'm very interested. I would say overall, collectively, team wise, I'm really interested in both teams for JP2. Really interested in both teams for May River. And I mean, maybe even Bridges Prep. They play different styles of basketball, but it seems like the girls can kind of be physical and mash it up in there. The guys just continue to shoot, and so it'll be definitely different styles of games. But if I had to pick three teams of our schedule that we're looking to fill out, where both girls and guys look pretty good to my eye, just from looking at the rosters and recalling what I've seen the last couple of years. Bridges Prep, JP2, and then May River. Those three schools, I have my eye definitely on both girls and guys action.
I think
The other ones, we'll see.
Yeah. I think I don't know about
Could be
Bridges girls. I don't know if Bridges
surprises.
girls are quite ready. But I think, obviously, it's rare that both teams are good at one school. It seems like it usually is one or the other.
Right.
But I would say agree with JP2. Girls will be a little down this year, but should still be pretty solid. Not sure Bridges girls are quite there yet. They're not on the same level as the boys, who are a top 10 caliber team.
I would agree with
Rail
that.
Branch girls are moving up a little bit, but not
Was
quite
there
yet.
only rep in
Battery
terms of
Creek's a little
preseason?
interesting.
Were they
Battery
preseason
Creek
top 10?
girls
Yeah.
are better. Who's that? Bridges? They were number 5 preseason.
Yeah. Number 5, yeah.
Yeah. So they're pretty good. But yeah,
Greek
there's
girls
not a
mentioned
lot
this
where
year?
you go
You said?
like, man, both teams are going to be really good. What's that?
No, not really this year. And some of the Skeezer teams have dropped off. I mean, Hilton Christian Academy, with all the losses that they've had, I'm not quite sure
Right.
what to make of them yet. The guys as well, still looking for some pieces there. And the Hilton Prep guys, obviously, I feel like they're going to be a favorite in Skeezer 3A.
Yep.
Just
Yeah.
seeing who they have and who they're going up against this year. I think they might be the top dog again with some new guys they brought in. By the way, I believe they faced off against Hilton and the Christian Academy, and then the long time matchup between the Dolphins and the Eagles, formerly an intra rivalry game in the islands. But Hilton and Christian Academy have, of course, they've been for a while now. They've made their way out to Bluffton, and they have continued to grow by leaps and bounds. They're getting ready for softball season in a few months over there, I believe. So that's something to look forward to. Yeah, I'm excited for Skeezer Hoops. Hilton Prep, I think, should be right there again on the guys' side. Then JP2, the boys, they battle hard in that first game against Prep. That's a good sign for JP2. So I think they've got some interesting pieces this year. Although they're in are they 4A this? Are they 4A now in basketball?
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
With so they have to go with the big boys, like the Porter Gouds and all them, all
Correct.
the big dogs. So that's a tough road for those
Yeah,
squads.
it is.
Yeah, Hilton Prep, I think they've that's that's hard because with the realignment this year and some teams move up, some teams move down, it's going to be a different landscape compared to what we have seen in the past. I think it sets up really well for Hilton Prep for the guys, and I think the girls as well. Although that'll be a different look of a team. But they find a way to get some athletes and maintain competitiveness throughout the season. I think they'll use their way in. But look back at these the all sports regions here. I think that we talked about them in the past. But yeah, JP2 in the depths of 4A, which certainly you got Lawrence Manning, Trinity Collegiate, Wilson, North Canton Military, Hilton Christians. That's a lot of travel for them. But Hilton Prep, the guys should wipe the floor with the teams that they have to go against: St. John's Christian, Patrick Henry, and Colleton Prep in Region 4 3A. But I'm excited to see how HHG and JP2 do in this interesting 4A region, having to go all the way to Lawrence Manning, Trinity Collegiate, and Wilson Hall.
Yeah, they're putting some miles on the bus.
No doubt.
Oh,
to
Barnwell. Okay, I'm
spare
looking at football scores over here, boys. We got
what you got.
some interesting ones. I'm getting them all gathered
And
up
of
here.
course,
Um,
and of course, yeah, and then 2A, you got Bethesda Academy, Cross Schools, Beaufort Academy, Holy Trinity, Thomas Howard, Adrian Jackson, then the 1A Flexes, Heritage Academy, and the Complete Student. I don't know if Heritage has a basketball team. I know Complete Student has had one before, but those are 1A Flexes
yeah.
playing in the 2A region with 1A teams. But in terms of those other schools in 2A, Cross, defending champs on the girls' side a year ago, I think they'll be tested a little bit more this year. Beaufort Academy, a couple of down seasons for them. So it's can they turn the corner here?
Yeah, I don't know what BA girls have right now at
It's a
all,
program that was competitive.
or boys
Well,
for that matter.
yeah,
I mean, they got Shuford, they got Palk,
yeah, they got
Fripp.
some
They got
good
some
athletes.
players. I don't know who they
Yeah.
have for bigs, but they got some players over there. So they should. Oh yeah, and then they got Underwood. I don't know if he's hooping,
Like Underwood,
but
yes. Yeah,
so I got some finals from around the state. In 5A Division One, Dutch Fork over River Bluff. We mentioned that one earlier in Spartanburg. Dutch Fork 52-14 over River Bluff. Spartanburg 35-9 over JL Man. Somerville 49-20 over Ridgeview. Sumter 34-17 over James Island. Rallied past them.
Mm.
So that's your final four in the lower state in D1 or overall in D1. In D2, it's Northwestern 35-6 over Greenwood. Gaffney 21-7 over Hannah. Irmo 56-7 over West Florence, and White Knoll 23-3 over Berkeley. And then in 4A, teams we're more familiar with, West Side big over Camden 49-7. South Point up 42-35 on Daniel in the fourth quarter. Not quite final yet, I guess. So still in play. South Florence 49-21 over Hartsville. North Augusta 49-14 over Gilbert. And that's the two teams that took out our boys last week. South Florence and
Yeah.
North Augusta.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like they'll be a collision course in the lower state
Rolling on.
championship next week, and then that Oceanside game was a good one over in 3A.
Yeah, it was a fight. So Mountain View Prep in 3A is up 23-14 over Crescent Lake. BHP rallied past Powdersville 35-14. Loris leading Keenan Lake 24-14, and Oceanside 28-21 over Dillon. And 2A, Clinton over Batesburg Leesville 31-14. Fairfield Central 48-28 over Central. Barnwell edges Sherrod 28-27, and Manning 34-21 over Philip Simmons. A little bit of a surprise there.
Wow,
Manning Barnwell's a good one.
Yeah, that'll be two teams that have both knocked off Hampton County, sadly.
Yep. Yes, sir. Abbeville 48-38 over Lamar in 1A. Louisville 31-6 over HKT. Cross 12-7 over Hannah Pamplico, and Lakeview 42-32 over Bamberg. So
That 1A lower state game is going to be interesting. Cross against Lakeview. Cross is playing some good football right now. It's hard not to go against them, but they've been stepping it up. So
Lakeview's pretty good. I think I'll take Cross on that one, but that should be a good one.
Yeah.
Lakeview has impressed in these playoffs, though. Libby wants to know, it's 43 degrees in Bluffton. Can he get some cold weather tips? Hats and layers for sure. Definitely layers.
I had my trench coat on, taking the trash out a little bit ago before we got started. That's it. The one thing that I will say, just from a few minutes ago that I was out, the wind is not much of a factor, and that makes it bearable. But obviously,
it was very windy
layers,
earlier.
and that's the first time I've been out
really
today.
Windy.
Yeah, definitely.
It was really windy earlier, and then it just kind of lifted off.
Yeah.
But layers are good. I'm a big fan of the some sort of layer under your pants, the 2 layers of pants. I think that's good.
There you
That'll
go.
save your life from time to time.
The long johns.
Thick socks can
Yeah.
really help if you don't have sensory issues with your feet. I can't get them too thick. I can't have my shoes too tight now. I don't mess up my whole day. Yeah, I don't mess up my whole day. But yeah, and the best tip of all, if it's 43 degrees, get your ass inside, Libs.
Yeah, just
Turn
be
on the
smart.
heat.
Be
Stay
smart about
indoors.
limiting your exposure out there.
That's right. That's right.
Oops.
Well, hey, boys, we got some more sponsors to talk about. We got the varsity sponsors of LowcoSports. DDS Web Design builds, hosts, maintains websites for businesses and nonprofits to get results. So if you need to get found online so you can do more and think bigger, go to ddshhi.com. Parker Law Group serves legal needs across Colleton, Hampton, and Jasper counties and helps us shine a light on more deserving teams and student athletes out on the Loco frontier. Dr. Ambrose Coles, our official chiropractor. You can find him at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton, and he'll get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. And Reverence Wrestling Club, our official wrestling sponsor, presenting sponsor of the Loco Grind. Take your skills on the mat to the next level this year at Reverence Wrestling Club. Those are our varsity sponsors. What else we got going on, boys? Anything else you want to talk about?
Do have a question for you, JJ. I'm pretty
All
sure
right.
I know the answer to this, but if you could do me a favor and look up who May River plays on, I believe it's December the 16th.
We're talking about basketball?
Yes,
December the 16th.
I think they have a game.
Yeah, they're at Hilton Head Christian Academy.
That was it.
There you go. Yeah, they have a little fun home and home with them. So on the 2nd, which is what day? Saturday.
Second's
Sunday.
Monday.
Monday? That's Monday? Yeah,
Yeah.
Monday they got HHCA at home at May
And
River.
that's the one I can't go
Yeah.
to because I'm going to be singing a concert. So I'll see them on the 16th.
There you go. And then return trip on the 16th. So
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. I like those cross area matchups. I'm with you. I didn't get around to saying it earlier, Marcus, but I'm with you on May River. I like both those hires a lot. I think that the personnel they have is conducive to what both those coaches want to do, and I think it's going to be a pretty seamless transition. Like the girls are already off to a quick start. Obviously, they haven't played the best competition yet, but they've taken care of business like they're supposed to against teams that they haven't beaten necessarily in recent years. So I think they're headed in the right direction already, and I'm really excited to see that guys team because I just think, with him coming in with the Kentucky background and philosophy and the way he wants to play, and having the two senior guards who have played together for a long time, and then the guys that can play off of them. They just have the right players for his style, and I think it's going to be fun to watch.
We talked about it back when I did those interviews, and we were just getting ready for football. But we talked about it in terms of the basketball side too. And we both know about this, JJ, from where we're originally from. Both of us are not that far away from Kentucky, where we're originally from. I'm a Buckeye, and you being from Kansas. That it's a different style of basketball up in that area of the country than what we see here. So it's really going to, especially for you and I, it's going to bring us back to our roots. And I have to tell the story again of really how I started getting entrenched in high school sports. I would go to football games. I, sat in the press box for a couple of high school football games of my high school and whatnot. But how I really started getting involved outside of doing PA and whatnot for baseball and football and a tad bit for basketball was that from the second half of my sophomore year of high school through my senior year of high school, I was the student manager for our high school basketball program. Varsity for sure, but I did some stuff with the JV team as well. And so being in the gyms those years and having that camaraderie with the guys, our coaches, and just having that environment where, you're going to school and then you're sticking around and doing stuff for practice. And then on game days, you're getting everything ready for games and getting out on the road or staying at home and doing that. That really got me entrenched in what this level of basketball is all about. And then, of course, I just started calling games, in college and then for WHHI here again on the high school level when I started doing that in 2000, I think it was 17. and there's just nothing like it. So to have that ability to kind of go back for you and I to go back to our roots and see what May River can do with that new style, I think it's
Mhm.
going to be great.
Yeah, so to further clarify, Libby asked us, can I define the Kentucky philosophy? I don't know about define it, but so I'm just thinking like Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, Midwest style basketball. A lot of Princeton sort of ideas in there, lots of back
Yeah.
cuts, pick and roll, very
Pick and roll's
fundamentally
huge.
sound.
Making your cuts and
Ball
stay
doesn't
open.
touch the floor,
Yeah.
pass,
Yeah.
until we get a layup kind of stuff. And I think they've
Right.
got
You're
the people to
probing, you're
do that.
passing, you're trying to find using the
Yeah.
shot clock. Yeah. Right. Yeah,
And good
interesting.
half court defense, just
Right.
philosophically they believe in playing in the half court, right?
Yeah.
And getting the best
Yep.
shot you can get. And so it'll be fun to see. It's not always, it can go both ways. You can play that style of basketball and it can be very plodding and boring. And you can play that style and it can be very fast and crisp. And I hope it's more on the fast and crisp side.
For
But
sure.
sometimes you get plodding and boring early on, at least, until you get a little more oiled. But should be cool to see though.
I remember seeing a game when I was in high school, talking about my alma
Right there
mater,
is the
where we ended up playing. I think it was Glen Oak up in Ohio, and of course there was no shot clock back then, and the possessions that Glen Oak was doing this particular game, and I think it was in a state not for the state tournament, but a playoff game, a playoff atmosphere. They were just holding the ball for like 45, 60 seconds. And I was just thinking to myself,
Yeah.
I mean, are we gonna have some action here? So you can see occasionally some of that as well, depending on clock restrictions or what have you. Again, that was a long time ago that I saw that with that style of ball.
Well, now I'm seeing different scores posting. Now it says 63-14
Oh, goodness.
Gilbert over North Augusta. That's not at all what it said a minute ago.
Hmm.
Frustrations. That seems to be the only one. It does look like South Point went final. They win 49-35.
So I can just let you guys know too of the games that I plan on scouting to take a look at some of these teams in case Kev wants to join me or anybody else for that matter. Like I said, I plan on being at the Hilton Head Prep JP2 matchup on Wednesday. Going to be seeing as much of this in the month of December around my Ohio trip as I can. Really looking forward to seeing May River in action on the 16th. That should be a lot of fun seeing that matchup. And then I'm looking forward to Bluffton Whale Branch on the 14th. I plan on being there for that doubleheader.
Yeah, that guys can be
Bluffton
really good.
Buford, January 28th. Of course, I'm going to be in the midst of calling games, but I don't have anything on the 28th, so I plan on seeing Bluffton Buford since we'll plan on doing Buford the final game that we have in February. And then Hilton Head, Richmond Hill on December 17th as well. So those are the games that I plan on hitting out, doing a little bit of scouting.
Oh. Kevin
Hoops
Libby
like a
loves
girl with a
hoops
hula.
like a girl with a hula at a
Goodness.
concert. He does.
There you go.
What
He
else we got, boys?
he was an official for
How's that
basketball and
Georgia?
softball and
How's
whatnot.
that Georgia game
I have
going?
Georgia.
Ooh, I know what else I got.
Georgia.
I believe the score is still
20
the
to
I have a
same.
parting
6.
thought to share, but I'll wait till
20
the
to
end.
6 in the well, we're not two
Okay.
parting thoughts yet.
20 to 6.
We'll do that in a minute.
Yeah, the
But
Georgia's at the Georgia Tech Force. They're about to potentially score and make this a
Oh.
one-possession game. They got the Georgia Tech Force second and goal, down 14, so an opportunity to cut it to 7. So not over yet. 9-12 to go in the fourth.
Well, I've got some more news before we get into parting
The
thoughts.
Dogs
Um,
claw their
that
way back.
I had forgotten
Go.
about
Yeah, let's go.
until just
What we
this
got?
minute. But two different pieces of news regarding our friend Irvin Mulligan. Irv Mulligan, former Whale Branch star, now then at Wofford and now at Jackson State. He was in the past week. On Wednesday, he was named one of 10 finalists for the Urban Edge Network's inaugural HBCU Plus National Player of the Year Award, going to the outstanding player from 21 HBCUs in FCS college football.
Oh.
And a day earlier, he was among 35 finalists for the Walter Payton Award, which goes to the National Offensive Player of the Year in NCAA Division I FCS college football. So Mulligan, we covered him in high school. He was a dude. I think the first year that we started LowcoSports, he was a senior, and he was an animal. Went on to Wofford, had a good run there, got his degree, still had eligibility, so he went to Jackson State. Last year he had a really good season going, and then he got hurt, injured his ankle with a few games left in the season, and tried to come back, and came back and played in the bowl game sparingly, but then I think he had surgery in the offseason. I'm not positive about that, but I think he did, because he missed spring practice, missed fall camp, and missed the first two games this season, and then started easing his way back in, took over the starting lineup again, and he's had 500-yard games. Leads the SWAC with 1,052 rushing yards, the only 1,000-yard rusher in the league, and only the 13th player in Jackson State history to rush for 1,000. He's seventh in the nation in yards per carry at 6.74, ninth in rushing yards per game at 105.8, and 21st in total rushing yards. Leads the conference in all those totals. So just giving a well-deserved shout out to a bad dude, Irv Mulligan.
Talk about a guy who's had so much perseverance throughout, especially you look at this past year, recovering from that injury, coming back to playing a bowl game, and then dominant performance over 2024 and using those extra years of eligibility to his benefit. And what a great last few years that he has put together, especially this season for that full season in 2024. So huge congratulations to Irv, someone we've talked about for a while. I obviously wasn't here when he was performing at his final years in the Lowco, but just to follow him throughout his college career and to see all that he has overcome, and now not just putting together a stellar season, being in the mix for several prestigious awards, including, as you said, the Walter Payton Award for the best offensive player in all of Division I FCS, which is quite the honor. And so all the props and all the praise going to that guy, because it takes another gear when you come back from a couple of setbacks, but just continue to put that next foot forward, and that's what he has done throughout these last few months. And super proud of that guy. Just represents the resiliency and the dedication that we want to see from these kids around here, and sets a great example for the guys that will come after him here at the Lowco, and what a career he's put together. And just great to see him continue to play football and continue to excel, because you got to have the love and the passion and just that strong-willed mentality at this point to put yourself back in a position where I no matter what has happened before, I can find ways to succeed when they give me a chance. So love seeing that for my man Irv Mulligan. We've talked about a lot, but now starting to put his name out there on the national stage.
Yes, sir. I don't know if our guy is he back? I don't know if our guy what's his name? Lee Kirkland plays. I don't know when he plays next. Tomorrow, presumably.
I know they play. Let me check the NAI, because I know they play.
I have returned. I had a quick phone call to take.
Top seed.
Abruptly.
Kaiser.
Yeah, they play at Kaiser tomorrow at 1.
Tomorrow, yeah, they play tomorrow. So that's the 1 seed. Obviously, they
tell you what, that young man has just been sensational. I mean, I remember covering him when he was at Bluffton, and what he's doing on the next level. My goodness.
Oh yeah, Well, here,
1
let's
o'clock
get
tip
into our
tomorrow.
parting thoughts. Let's get
All right.
into our parting
Yeah,
thoughts.
and
We got our
actually,
local
Gain Goat
booster
Golf.
code. What's that?
Someone in the comments just predicted what my parting thought was
Yeah.
going to be.
Yeah,
So,
is that what it is? I'm looking for the video.
but let's
Loco
read the
Booster
sponsors
Club.
first.
We got Court Lifestyle Pros, Daniel and Debbie Court, want to bring you home to Hilton Head Island. They're with Charter One Realty. Eagle Creations has promotional items and custom apparel, plus much more at their showroom over on Argent Boulevard. Jay's Barber Shop is the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. Go check them out at Jay's Barber Shop. Barefoot Floor Care, the Low Country, floors so clean your feet will thank you. Hudson Seafood House on the Docks, presenting sponsor of Under the Bus. New episode recorded on Wednesday, and I was sitting in for Curry, and it was pretty solid despite me sitting in for Curry. You should check it out. I actually listened to it in the car today, and it was pretty
I
good.
listened to
Yeah.
the end of it.
Yeah, I
it
love
was
going under the
well done
was-
from you
it was
guys.
I hope
It
they
was
don't put me
fun.
under the bus, but I love listening to the bus. Yeah.
Always.
Never. Worldwide
Yeah, those
West. would
guys
never-
have been at it a while, and
They're great.
who
They're
knows?
great. They have a lot to say,
But
and we got a couple good licks.
those
into.
guys do a great job.
They're
Such
great.
a funny show with a lot of great personalities.
Absolutely. People should check out Under the
They-
Bus
they
on the
do-
Loco Media Network or wherever you get your podcast. And you should go eat at Hudson Seafood House on the Docks. And if you're in Hampton and you're hungry or thirsty, you got to stop by Hurricane Sports Cafe and grab you something to eat or drink. Say hi to them from the guys from Loco. I don't apologize. I'm not apologizing for listening. I just usually don't. And I was in the car and I was like, I wonder how this sounds as a podcast. And I was like, that sounds pretty engaging as a
Good.
podcast. It was pretty good. So yes, we have parting thoughts. What do you got? What do you got, Wes? I already know what you got.
Yeah, we have a Loco star who was just mentioned on a national TV broadcast. He was on the NFL Network, and he is the Week 12 NFL winner, the high school Way to Play winner, which was revealed on the NFL Network a few days ago. Each week, the NFL selects a player in the league and a player at the high school level who have demonstrated tremendous play, tremendous technique during a important play in a game. And guess what? The high school winner for Week 12 nationwide, none other than Bluffton's own Carnell Warren. And he was announced, and there you see it.
The High School Way to Play award goes to Bluffton High School's Carnell Warren. Now, sometimes the play just speaks for itself. Now, peep the wide receiver at the top of his go route. I want you to see he comes into frame pretty late here. And check this out. Ooh, he high points the ball, which is outstanding, showing great body control, jumping the ball and snagging it with authority. I'm going to call Randy Moss on that one, man. I'm about to call him up right now. That was a strong finish and protection of the ball, securing the catch for a touchdown.
So good.
That right there is the way to play. All right.
So good, Carnell.
Way to play.
And that's why Carnell has a whole bunch of offers.
Man, I'm jealous. Max,
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to see that, and I didn't because that was a heck of a catch.
Kid,
I'm talking about Max
unbelievable.
Lavage,
I just
co-host
remember
there, but
in
what an honor.
the game that we had.
Yeah, be
you know,
compared to Randy Moss on
he made
national
those three
television.
plays back to back to back, and Daniel was looking at me and he was like, "What's the play of the year? Is it one of these three?" Just super talented young man, and obviously a great program there in Bluffton. And look forward to seeing what he continues to do both on and off the field. But great kid.
Very good. Very good.
And it says here on the website, the NFL Way to Play high school winner receives a $3,000 USA football equipment grant from NFL Foundation for their school's program. So if that's true, that's pretty awesome for Bluffton.
Outstanding. Yeah, great news. I wonder how they'll use it. We'll have to get a report. What Carnell's great catch got for him. Kevin Libby remembers this play. He was about to interview Kieran Webb, the principal at May River, and they all held their breath and said, "Wow, yeah, that was a pretty good catch. You got Moss."
Special talent we've seen from Carnell Warren. And
now we get to see him
get to
do
see
it
it
on the
basketball
court.
court, which is also exciting.
And he's pretty good there too, by the way.
Yes, he is. He's quite talented there.
Oh, yeah.
Marcus, you got any parting thoughts tonight?
To get back to what we were talking about earlier, this is one of my, of course, favorite times of the year anyway, Thanksgiving, hanging out with the family. I'm going to be able to see my mom and dad for a little bit tomorrow, and certainly spend some time with them watching the Notre Dame USC game by the time I get over there for sure, if not the end of the
Nice.
Ohio State Michigan game. But so much wall-to-wall football, but especially the college football that we see over these few days. And I mean, tomorrow is the creme de la creme of rivalry week. I just mentioned two of them that I'm going to be glued into at least a little bit with my ever-rotating schedule of Ohio State, Michigan. And that game, I believe, is in Columbus tomorrow. So it's Michigan at Ohio State, and then Notre Dame traveling to USC for the big game there. And it's always a big game when the Irish play the Trojans. Really looking forward to seeing that one as well. And then later on, you've got that Texas A&M matchup. The winner of that likely to face Georgia. You know, we'll see how things shake out here. It's 20-13 with 7:11 to go in the fourth quarter in Athens.
Georgia
between
Tech
the
ball,
hedges.
though, near midfield.
And Tech's got the ball.
Hey, don't forget about the big
great
battle line rivalry. Everybody knows about the battle line rivalry, right? It's a huge one.
Yeah.
Mizzou, Arkansas. No.
And that is it.
I'm just playing. It's
a
low key.
It's a fairly
It's
big
a
one.
low key good rivalry. It's become pretty
absolutely.
good. I mean, I like it
there's-
because we usually beat them, so it's a.
Yeah,
I like that.
it's true. There's that one. I don't know if West Virginia and Pitt are playing tomorrow, but that's
Oh, the
always a huge
backyard
rivalry with the backyard
they
brawl. There's a bunch of them. Certainly, we mentioned South Carolina, Clemson. That's a big one. How that game got shifted to ESPN, I don't know.
Texas A&M.
That's the primetime one. Fowler, Herbstreit, and Rowe working that one, and College Game Days at that game tomorrow.
The Iron Bowl, where my boss
Iron
will
Bowl,
be.
of course.
We'll play Georgia and
That's
Mr.
going to be
Ray
a
will be at the Iron
great
Bowl.
one.
Always exciting.
Miami Syracuse has
bunch of them.
major implications.
Right, big implications for Clemson. Yep.
They're all over the place. You had the Egg Bowl earlier today,
on this Saturday.
which is
It's a veritable cornucopia.
Yes, which was the Egg Bowl normally on Thanksgiving?
Of pigskin all over the nation.
Right, the Egg Bowl used
Which
to be on
one's that?
Thanksgiving.
I was
the Egg Bowl used to
mentioning
be on
the
Thanksgiving.
Egg
Oh,
Bowl, which
Yeah.
was earlier today as well.
The Egg Bowl.
Yeah, that
it
was
on
today,
Mississippi,
Thanksgiving.
Mississippi State. Yep,
Used to be.
I think it did used to be at times on Thanksgiving, but
it has. Yeah,
things get
Thanksgiving
moved
night on
around for
ESPN.
TV. Yeah. Somebody probably didn't want it to go up against the NFL, so they had to move it somewhere else.
Well, yeah, totally makes sense.
Had a couple of really tight NFL games yesterday too. Those first two.
And then of course
the final
Chiefs,
one, actually, Miami kind of came back and made it somewhat competitive, but
one possession game.
And the Chiefs found a way to get it done today.
Chiefs
That was
they're invincible.
not easy,
They're
but
not
they did it.
invincible because they lost last week. But there's a meme. I don't know if you guys have seen the meme, but it's very popular in Chiefs Kingdom. I will get the meme up for you and share that with you as a parting thought. You probably won't feel, any kind of empathy for us Chiefs fans because, it's been going pretty good for us. But it is a little bit of a struggle at times, and this meme very well articulates. Oh boy, am I excited to watch my favorite team play, followed by I'm going to kill myself, followed by nice, we won.
That's exactly it right there.
It's about how it feels. And when you're favored by 13.5 against the Raiders, the middle part of that meme is very long and very excruciating, but nice, we won.
Right.
So we'll take it.
It pays off in the end.
Any good coach will tell you, you celebrate. Winning is hard, and you celebrate it in the moment, and then you get back.
A win is a win.
You just mentioned the coaches. It's like what they say on the classic. Oh no, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, great job. That's a huge run. I didn't call that, but great job. Yeah.
Oh, no. Ah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Rich Basirico often on Under the Bus talks about his.
I heard him talk about it Wednesday. Oh, what are you doing? It worked. You're a genius.
Yes. Why are you taking that shot? Yes, great job.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. The alternative. But
yeah.
All right, boys. Anything else before we call it a night? Kevin Libby says, speaking of spreading media, when Javon Mack hits 3-quarter shot, Beaufort High kid posted Sports Center number 2.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Something
Bob
like that.
Stevens had that call.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think.
Yep.
Were you with him that night, Kev? Kevin may have been doing color with Bob that night. But I know Bob Stevens had that call.
I remember something like that happening. And it was on top place. I think it was that Beaufort shot.
It was something to see that.
He said it made it to number 2. Kids, please have as much fun as these boys. It worked. Good.
Yeah, right.
Yep, exactly.
That's it.
All right, boys. Well, great show tonight for not having a whole lot to talk about. We powered through it. We got a lot of stuff done, and we can get back together. Planning to get together on Sunday night about 9 o'clock for a Loco Hoops Report season preview extravaganza, and we will. Lib shot that. He got the shot.
The Javon Mack left in the.
I thought he was involved some way.
There we go. Nice. But yeah, we'll get back together Sunday night for a Loco Hoops Report season preview. I don't know if we're doing a Sandtrack Rewind Sunday night, but if so, we'll see you then for that as well at 8 o'clock, and we'll double stack them, and we'll take tomorrow off and enjoy it. Enjoy all that college football, and we'll see you Sunday. Thanks so much to Marcus Walsh for running alongside us tonight in Max's stead. Safe travels to Max getting back into town. And thanks to everybody who showed up to listen or watch, especially the Libs. He's our guy. And thanks to all of our sponsors, especially the OGs and the All-Stars, Mickelson Law Firm. So thanks to everybody who's a part of this Loco Sports family. We are thankful for you on this Thanksgiving Day. I'm enjoying a non-alcoholic Guinness. You know, I haven't had alcohol in 25 years, and then I never had a Guinness. But my brother-in-law had some non-alcoholic Guinness. Not bad. I'm enjoying it.
You like it? I might have to.
I get the hype. I get the hype. It's not bad.
I'm a big fan of it for sure.
Been a lovely Thanksgiving. Enjoyed spending the last bit of this Thanksgiving week with you guys, and we'll see you on Sunday night. So thanks everybody. Till next time, for Marcus Walsh and Wes Kerr, I'm Justin Jarrett. Go Loco.
The Loco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Loco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go Loco.